Hello and welcome back to Mad Human. It's the show where artificial intelligence meets human intelligence and where above all else we keep it real on the digital frontier. I'm your host, Atanasio Juarez, aka Rezzy, and I'm a serial entrepreneur, a media whisperer, and a certified tech and gadget junkie, self-proclaimed of course. And we're coming at you live this week from the Eterna HQ. And before we dive into things, I think we're going to need to take a look at this high-stakes roller coaster that is the AI news this week. Let me lay it down for you. I'm a dyed-in-the-wool optimist, and I am net bullish all in on AI. But, and it's a big but, I also think some of what's going on in this space right now is so wild it needs a padded room. This week, we've got Reddit basically turning late night rants into enterprise insight. We've got Canada stepping into the AI arms race like it's Game 7 OOT for Lord Stanley's Cup. And no, that's not a typo in my script right here. A $2 billion funding round was just put through for a company that hasn't even launched a product yet. So strap in and strap on Pride Week or Pride Month. Well, it's Pride here in Denver. It's the Mad Human. All right, so headline number one that we're going to get into on the Mad Human is the $2 billion PowerPoint deck. Mira Murati, former OpenAI CTO, just raised $2 billion from a startup that hasn't even shipped a single product yet. And it's a thing called Thinking Machines Lab. Might be the most expensive PowerPoint deck or keynote ever written. Now, Mira, obviously, she's brilliant. She helped build GPT-4 and DALL-E for OpenAI. But this isn't an investment, really. This is Silicon Valley's, version of betting on a vibe, right? It's trust me, bro, with about nine zeros behind that, a comma and 9 zeros. Headline number two, we're going to get right into it. Canada says game on with AI. The FedDev Ontario dropped $2.4 million into a new AI business catalyst program that's going to be targeting small and medium businesses. Translation, Canada's not trying to slow the future down. They are actually trying to train baristas to program it. Smart move. I think small businesses in general will benefit from early AI adoption. I've been saying that for years now, and they're going to basically eat the market share like poutine after midnight. Headline number three, the sustainability ick. MIT just reminded us that training AI burns through more electricity on a daily basis than a stadium full of air fryers. So while we're optimizing email subject lines and the planet is basically burning, efficiency isn't just a thing that is nice to have anymore. It's necessity, and it is the next frontier. Use the right tool, and not the biggest tool is going to be the name of the game as we move forward in this super unknown future. Headline number four, the great AI rollup delusion. Venture capitalists basically are playing AI Voltron right now, trying to link all of these small startups together, and they're buying up services and firms and whatever they call it. Is it SaaS? Is it SWAS? Is it service with an extra step? I got a spoiler alert for them. A service is still a service, and it doesn't matter if there's a chatbot strapped to the front of it. You can't duct tape 10 agencies together and expect them to scale like Salesforce has. That's not synergy. That's basically the AI version of fantasy football. And in our deep dive today and our interview segment, we're going to talk about the community intelligence revolution that's going on over at Reddit. Reddit just announced 2 AI tools at Cannes, the community intelligence and conversation add-ons. And no joke, this might be the biggest shift in marketing since advertising companies got their hands on memes. Community intelligence uses machine learning to make sense of 22 billion posts and comments. But here's the magic. It's context, right? If somebody says, I hate my job on the anti-work Reddit thread versus the career guidance Reddit thread, Reddit's AI is going to go in and it basically doesn't count just the words. It knows the why. So this is a far leap from like data to actually understanding what people's intent are and what possible clients, leads, buyers' intent may be. And somebody that knows all about that is my guest and my interview on this topic here today, and also my friend Sam Thompson. I'm gonna bring him in here. What's up, Samuel?
What's up, Blair? How are you?
I'm doing great, man. So this is kind of a weird story that broke at the end of last week that I wanted to include in the pod for this week. Yeah, Reddit's going like all just info-based, AI-driven data mining on why people are talking about the threads that they're on. And you're somebody who knows a lot about how to advertise and market online and overall sell things. So I thought you would be a good resource to tap to just kind of chat with.
Fuck yeah. Super down. Yeah, I mean, I saw the story. I think the interesting piece on it is it's like it's one of those where it's like not anything new, right? Like there's all sorts of companies that have been doing data mining. I think AI adds a layer to it, which is sick. And Reddit, obviously, from a data volume perspective and a type of content, like a very specific type of content, of more of this like forum based dialogue that happens,
Right.
is definitely an interesting they'll definitely be able to pull out unique insights around specific topics that are discussed more on those
Yeah, and my
across the
thought
board.
was too, like that, just leaning into the idea that the way that we have traditionally marketed and advertised through social media like Facebook, Meta, now LinkedIn's becoming a big player in that space. Reddit, up until this point, really has not monetized that type of data, right? And that type of like
Mhm.
kind of intent that you can find in these forums. For a long time, at least in my opinion, it was kind of like the back alley of the internet where everybody just went to talk shit about each other and about these topics. But it turns out, AI being so powerful in its ability to go and track those conversations and kind of beat down those doors, can really, I think, start to mine some of those higher intent potential leads. I don't know. What do you think about that?
Yeah, no, I think it's the same. I mean, Reddit advertising has always been, um, I don't know, in ecom specifically, there's tier one advertising platforms, which like not even just ecom, but like when I think about paid ads specifically, I think ecom's like been the front runner there online. And so you have tier ones, Meta, Facebook, Instagram, and then obviously Google. Um, TikTok has started to explode as a tier one, still though, like more traditionally a tier two. Um, and then
Yeah,
you start
TikTok was
having
kind of
these,
like almost the goat for a minute there, right?
yeah,
I
and
mean,
it definitely, I mean, we did a lot of paid on that. I think then you start to have the Reddits, the Snapchats, the Pinterests, right? That are just you don't see that many people allocate sizable budget on those platforms unless they fit kind of a more specific um, customer demo. Um, and I think this is a move by Reddit to try to get into a new tier, right? Like, how can they start to solidify themselves? And the way that they have to do that is data, right? Like,
right.
hey, we have a unique ability to target consumers based on this unique content style that we have, right? And like, I think that piece of it is super interesting.
And that,
Just
dude, that kind of leads into that secondary tool that they implemented as well, or are talking about, launching, which is the conversation add-ons. I mean, they're basically taking like the idea of these user-generated conversations that are happening in these threads and allowing the advertiser and the brands to showcase those right beneath the ad. So it's kind of like in real time happening. You're seeing like what Reddit's calling community marketing. It's
mhm.
basically like that community that is talking about that specific thing that really touches on what a brand offers, then marketing really to themselves, right? Because they're already
Right.
talking about like the tool or whatever the brand is offering as a service.
Yep.
So it's pretty cool. And instead of like interrupting the conversation with an ad, it almost appears as though they're like, what's going on with my camera? It almost appears as though they're like joining it, right? And I think
Right.
that's going to work a lot better for brands and advertisers in general, media buyers, than just something that is in your stream. Because, dude, you're like the expert at hooks and like grabbing attention. What was like your like early experience with learning how to develop that kind of stream stopping kind of ad?
Oh yeah, I mean it's all just pattern break, right? Like it's not even it's not even specific to ads, it's just specific to content in general, right? Like when you think about retention curves on content, like your most significant drop off is in the first 2 seconds. People decide very, very quickly, almost subconsciously, that like this piece of content is relevant to me or not. Um,
Yeah.
and that can be, I mean, really, it's like the first two words, the setting and the character, um, of how do you generate interest in the next piece. I mean, Mr. Beast talks about this a lot of like, your thumbnail is actually more important than your first minute of your video, right? Because it's
Right.
just you start to see that trickle down effect in all things, right? Like leads to call booked to call showed, right? Like each step of that funnel you see drop off in, and it's the same that happens on a social feed of like 100% of people see the first half a second of your video.
Right.
40% of people see the 10 seconds after that. 6% of people of that percent leave a comment or a like. Right? Like, and so you just start to see the trickle down, and where you see the most lift on the trail metrics is by your retention in that first little bit. And so a lot of it is just pattern break or like hyper relevance. And it's not, I hate saying that it's not that hard. But it's not that hard, right? Like you just have to understand who you're making the video for and like call out their specific piece.
Yeah.
And so, and a lot of that from an advertising perspective is, if you're doing UGC ads, like finding whoever that creator is that is most alike your target demo, because they want to see videos around people that they relate to. So,
Right.
as a mid-20s white American male, and I see a mid-20s white American male start saying something, I'm like, oh, right,
Yeah.
like, oh, cool. And then if what he says in that first 2 seconds does apply to me, I'm more likely to stick around.
Yeah.
Um,
And you've
and
already
so,
generated some of this content with like VO3 and some of these tools that have recently
oh
come
yeah,
out, right? So, I mean,
yeah, it's all
developing
hooks.
those hooks and figuring out like if you can actually benefit from AI avatars and AI generated, content, that's really like kind of stepping into the arena with what we do at Eterna as well. And I think for agencies, the big shift here is, in my opinion, I think it's not just about ideation anymore. It's going to be about like interpretation of those ads and those hooks and what we're actually running and where we're running, based on the data that we get back from, actual community engagement with a topic. So,
Yeah,
it's really interesting. I think this is where like brand planning, community engagement, data science, they're all kind of colliding in this same sphere. And if you're an agency owner out there and you're not like building towards that already and creating that momentum, you're already behind. So, and I say it like every week on this show, like if you're not implementing this stuff right now in your small business or your agency or even like your enterprise organization, you're several steps behind the guys that are, and it's going to be really hard to catch up.
that's the issue. It's like you're not going to feel the negative impact of it for a while.
Yeah.
Because the adoption curve is still early, right? I was talking about this on the Kerner podcast of like you don't need VO3 right now, right? It's not good. There's a lot of, I mean, it's fine, but there's a lot of learning curve that comes with it, and you still can't always get the result that you want. And I feel like that is true across a lot of AI platforms, like even non-AI automation platforms, right? Like, but the people that are going through the pain or expense of learning that stuff now are going to be the first to benefit from like when AI is really actually good,
Yeah.
right? Because like I've been like, the example was VO3, and it was like, yeah, there's not that many people that are really going to be able to drive that much value out of this right now. There's specific use cases in social content and ad creation and all of that. It still has its flaws, but the moment it gets really good, I will have already spent 6 months learning how to prompt it,
Right.
understanding the different pieces, like just like I broke the ice on it for myself so that as it gets better, I will understand how to use it more and more and more and more. And the difference between what it can do right now versus the difference of what it will be able to do in 2 years is where the people that are not wanting to adopt it currently, because the difference is slimmer, right? Like you
Right.
don't feel the impact of not using AI to the same degree. But the moment that it is actually replacing employees, and the moment that it is like
I,
actual, like
I think we're
when
in
it's
that
real,
moment. I think we're literally
it's
like,
getting there.
we're kind of like, well, I mean, just based on what we've done so far this year here at Eterna, like it's been just ever increasing, right? The
Hmm.
amount of interest, 3 months ago versus right now, has
Different.
been doubled or tripled. And even
Oh
like
yeah.
search volume, I was reading, the search volume for agentic AI and AI agents, versus like prompting. I think people are getting into the idea of like, hey, like it's not really about prompting. It's going to be about something more detailed and more nuanced and building context behind these agents and what their roles are going to be. Not everybody
Yep.
wants to have that job. Like not everybody wants to go and take that on for themselves. So that's where I think agencies like yours, like mine, like that are out here, really experimenting and on that cutting edge are going to excel. And we'll have, like you said, that initial ice break prior, months prior to when people are starting to catch on, and this, reaches a more mass adoption, right?
Yeah. That's a fact.
Sweet. Well, cool, man.
It's a
It's been
fact.
been great jamming with you, and
For sure.
yeah, if you want to drop a link or anything, let me know. What do you got going on?
Just come hang out with me on Twitter, dude. At I'm Sam Thompson. It's
Nice.
all good. I got nothing to sell anybody, dude. I'm just out here slinging. It's
That's,
all
yeah,
good.
from the guy who told me the other day that he's just a vendor. Yeah, I'm
I
not
am
trying to.
just a vendor.
I'm just a vendor, bro.
Just a vendor. If you need anything, DM me on Twitter. I got you. But like,
Nice.
I'm not gonna go push anything specific. We're good.
I love it. All right. Well, I will push the Grow Faster community on School for you, because I've
Thanks.
found some great insights on there as well. And yeah, man, always a pleasure chatting with you. And we'll see you maybe on a future episode here.
Hey, dude, just ping me a link whenever.
Cheers. Later, man. All right. And so my big take on the main story, which is the use of AI in a community setting and calling it community intelligence or the community intelligence revolution. Really why this matters is because we're looking at like how people are using AI, and especially the guys over at Reddit right now. They're going to scout like pre-buy intent, right? That's the data that they're trying to mine. It's a little bit more specific and a little bit more granular than we have been able to do so in the past as marketers and advertisers. So I think the big implication is, this is where brand planning and community engagement all come together, as I was saying with Sam. And we kind of have been building towards this for a while. AI and systems integrations that can anticipate, I think, is the next step, what a user's actual intent will be. And then we get into this whole like Minority Report kind of era, and that's going to be a wild ride. So with that being said, we're going to get into your Friday high five. That's 5 things for you to take into your weekend to advance or just begin your AI journey and your journey with some of these tools. We do this in 5 different ways, obviously, high five. So it's going to be something to watch, something to listen to, a tool you can use, something to reflect on and maybe get a little bit existential with, and then something that you can share with other people that are interested in this space as well. So first up, we're going to do something to watch. I say go back and watch Reddit's Canline keynote, the Community Intelligence Explained keynote. It takes about 20 minutes, and it shows exactly what's powering their motivation behind implementing AI into Reddit wholesale, basically. Something to listen to. I'm a big fan of podcasts, as you know, if you watched the first 2 episodes of this show. I drop little nuggets from podcasts all the time. I've got one that I want to point out for you this weekend. Go check out Nickonomics with Nick Hulsky. I think that's how you say his name. I can't remember Nick. I'm sorry if I'm butchering that. And he does this AI series with Ellie Daw, and it really has a way of making it more approachable for people that are not really in this space. He drops those episodes regularly along with other business-related podcasts episodes. But the AI ones, I think, are what stick out to me. Makes it extremely approachable. So good on you, Nick. And thanks for a shout out in the future, hopefully. All right, we're on to trying this tool over the weekend. Midjourney has a long-awaited video generation feature that they released, and I've been playing with it all week. It's fantastic. I have also, kind of dipped my toe in the idea of using VO3 over the past couple of weeks for developing advertisements and marketing for my clients. So I say go to Midjourney, try this thing out. It is pretty wild, right? We're seeing some just like amazingly creative, playful, hilarious stuff, and also some full-blown nightmare fuel come out of this thing. So try it for yourself this weekend. See how you feel about, the emergence of the imagination economy and the imagination currency, as I've been talking about on the show a lot lately as well. Something to reflect on. We're going to go into some conversations here. I say talk to your customers, talk to your clients, kind of see what kind of information you can gather from them. Maybe it's your firm's clientele. Let's see what kind of conversations they're having about AI that maybe you haven't thought of. And I say go list 3 of these and chat with your favorite LLM or your GPT or even an agent if you have one of those already set up for you, and try to get some feedback from the actual language model itself and see how it feels about, what these conversations mean for the advancement of it as a technology. I know it's kind of strange to be talking about its own idea of itself, but I think that gives us a lot of clarity in terms of where we're going with these tools and how to better use these tools and how they can better serve us. So last but not least, share this conversation with somebody. Ask someone, and literally in your immediate network. This can be a family member or a friend or the guy sitting next to you at the office next to you. But go to that person and ask them about what community marketing means to them, and share a little bit about what community marketing now means to you with some of this knowledge from the pod here, and how you can do more of it and how AI can help us, within our communities, however tight knit they may be or broad, to expand, the ideologies and the things that we enjoy about our own personal communities. So that's your high 5 for this week on the Mad Human. It's nice to be in the office, but I do want to get back to the studio. Shout out to MFG Studios in Denver. That is our home away from home when we're not too busy to go down and record episodes. But occasionally I will have some episodes coming out from the desk right here where all of the magic happens. In conclusion, here's the thing. Okay, so Reddit showed us that in a world full of generative content, real conversation is rare earth. And the companies that win with AI over the course of the next couple of years, because I don't think it's going to take very long, but these companies that are winning, they won't be the ones that generate the most content. They're going to be the ones that understand the context. So because, here we are at the end of the pod and the end of the day, AI can give you a lot of reach, right? But only humans can give you the resonance and can give you that context right now, at least for the time being. So that's what we want to focus on, I think. And that's what the Mad Human is all about. This has been episode 3. And you know what? I love when you guys like, subscribe, and share. That tells me that you care about what we're doing and the effort that goes into, scripting these out. I'm getting a little bit better at reading and connecting with the camera. But I'm a noob, full-blown noob at this, admittedly. But it's fun, and I'm having a good time. So I hope you are too. And every like, every subscribe, every share, even if it's with just friends, family, coworkers, means a lot, and I do appreciate it. So, as always, thank you this time for your time. Until next time, Cheers.